What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 1 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. Today we are continuing to use Emilio Forbes' team, which he used to get all the way to top 8 in San Diego. It's a pretty awesome team and I'm really excited to play some more games with it. So looking at my opponent's first team, it is Gyarados with Hydreigon, a Gengar, a Salamence, an Annihilate, and a Mousehold. So I'm afraid of the Mouse-Ape strategy, right, of going for beat up. I think I do like Glimmora here. I really want to show it off. I think it has just a lot of really strong damage. Let me quickly check if Talonflame... Yeah, Talonflame has Will-O-Wisp, so I think this is also a really strong option, right? Being able just to fire off those big Will-O-Wisps onto things like the Annihilate, the Gyarados, and the Salamence. Let's bring a Sylveon in the back, and then probably Meowscarada, right? I don't really need Bozo here. It doesn't really offer me much, especially with Gyarados, right? Being able to kind of pop right in and force us to continually use that order up, which I think we could have done, but I think that this is a little bit stronger, right? I really just want to keep using the Glimmora more than anything. So is it the best choice? We'll see, as we are going to see the Gengar with the Hydreigon, right? So we are in a little bit of an awkward spot because of the fact that we don't really have an easy KO onto anything. I do like the idea, though, of going for a Dazzling Gleam as well as setting up a Tailwind, right? So we can try and get some good damage that way. Unfortunately, right, there are no physical attackers on my opponent's side, so we're not going to be able to trigger the ability on the Glimmora, but I am hoping that setting up a Specs Dazzling Gleam should be enough to KO the Hydreigon, barring some sort of terrestrialization. If that happens, we can sort of adjust. But I think that this gives us a solid position to kind of work with, right? We're going to get a lot of good damage. We're seeing no Terras and we're seeing no switches. So this is really going to hurt because this is Specs boosted. And perfect. Just as I thought, it is going to get a KO onto the Hydreigon. We could see a Trick Room come out from the Gengar, which is, yeah, we are going to see the Trick Room. That is fine though, right? We do have the ability to go for those priority Brave Birds thanks to the fact that we still have our Gale Wing intact. So that is something that's awesome for us. We still pressure just a ton of damage with Glimmora, and then we do have access to Sylveon in the back, which really can take advantage of Trick Room in the right circumstance. So let's see what's gonna come out here, right? I'm not super worried about the Gengar at this moment, as it is going to be the Gyarados. And so interesting note of the Gyarados, right, is that it's Moxie. And so I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. I don't know if I will survive the turn to get off a Will-O-Wisp onto the Gyarados, right? I could just go straight for damage here. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, right? I don't think I need my Terra for the rest of the game anyway. And if we can burn the Gyarados, right, that puts us in such a strong position, right? Getting rid of your biggest sort of threat here, and we can play around that. It is just a little bit tricky, right? Because of the fact that they were able to set up pretty effectively, but I think we have the chance to come back, right? I don't see Talonflame unfortunately surviving the turn. It could, right, depending on if you go for a Waterfall and maybe something like an Icy Wind or a Shadow Ball into the Glimmora, just trying to get damage. As we will see perfect, the Waterfall letting us take that chance thanks to switching, as the Shadow Ball unfortunately looks like going, into that Talonflame, so calling the potential of the terrestrialization. But more importantly, right, you don't get the Moxie boost on the Gyarados, and now we get a lot of solid damage coming out from this Dazzling Gleam. And let's see just quite how much it's going to do. Doing a solid chunk into both. We do get a nice little critical hit into the Gengar. That is really bad. That is actually super, super bad for us, as now we are going to be forced to switch out our Glimmora because of those Choice Specs. But we do have access to Meowscarada, which does have priority, so that's something that we can take advantage of. And then let's put on some pressure with the Hyper Voice, right? Just getting some really solid damage onto the board. We do have the ability to kind of play around with things, and we really are just waiting for this this Tailwind to end more than anything, as then we can really put on some pressure. I think Sylveon unfortunately might be faster than the Gengar, right, or slower than the Gengar right now, which can lead to some issues. I probably should have gone for the Protect as a result. That would have actually been a lot smarter, right? Then we do have the ability to go for the Sucker Punch and then a single target instead of now. We are going to be taking a decent chunk onto the Meowscarada, but the Sludge Bomb, let's see how much it does into the Sylveon. Perfect. We are going to be able to survive. The Poison, though, really, really unfortunate here. Let's see how much this Hyper Voice does going onto both. Not enough for a KO onto the Gengar, but putting that Gyarados really, really low. And this should, if I recall correctly, be the end of Tailwind. And so we can kind of work with that. Survey says, unfortunately not. So we can go for the Sucker Punch onto the Gengar and then go for another Hyper Voice as well, right? With the idea that if you Protect, we can still kind of work with what we've got. I'm assuming Gengar's only, what's it called, non-damaging move is going to be that Trick Room, so I don't really know if you want to go for it. We could see a switch out, right? And that lets us kind of get off a free, what's it called, a free sort of source of damage. As no, we are going to see the Gengar going for the attack, letting us get that nice little knockout there. And so now is a question of what happens, right? We probably are going to lose our Sylveon is my best guess here, but I could be wrong, right? And that, yeah, we're going to see the waterfall come out onto the Sylveon. Sylveon going to get knocked out here, but more importantly, right, like now Gyarados is also in range of a Sucker Punch, and so at this point, really, we just have to figure out what they have in the back and see if Glimmora can deal with it that way, right? Because I'm pretty confident in our ability just to Sucker Punch the Gyarados from this range, as we are going to see my opponent's last Pokemon, as it is going to be revealed to be that Annihilate. So we're not quite out of the water yet. I'm going to... Oh... I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. That's so bad. Okay, well that changes a lot of things, right? Otherwise we would have had the ability to easily deal with that Gyarados, whereas now we are a little bit backed into the wall. But it really depends on speeds here, right? Like, I don't unfortunately think we survive a Moxie boosted water. There's no way we survive a Moxie boosted waterfall. So we're going to see the Annihilate go for Protect here. If we see the Gyarados attack into the Meowscarada, I think we're fine, but I don't really see that happening. Or if Glimmora is slower than Gyarados, I don't know its speed. We are going to see the Terra Blast. Interestingly, Normal type going into this Meowscarada, letting us fire off this Dazzling Gleam, which should be more than enough to deal with the Gyarados at this range, right? Perfect. And now, yeah, interesting. I don't know if my opponent was trying to Terra. Either way, it worked out for us, right? As the Twisted Dimensions now are going to return to normal, we can pressure with a Flower Trick onto you, and as well as go for a Dazzling Gleam. The big issue, right, is if you are Terra Fire, right, being able to set up and get that sort of defensive option, as we are going to see the Terra. I'm expecting it to be indeed that Terra Fire here, and so we do need to kind of adjust a little bit, as it is going to actually be Terra Flying. So that's actually better for us, right, because it means that you are neutral to Dazzling Gleam, and I can't really see a scenario... this is still tricky, right? Doing a little bit of damage there. We could have gone for Protect just to play it a little bit safer. I actually don't hate that, as actually Dazzling Gleam is going to go first. And so really importantly, right, we are going to see the Drain Punch come out. Unfortunately, though, I do not think that after the recovery, we're going to do enough to get the knockout with our Dazzling Gleam. So I'm assuming that, unfortunately, they are going to be able to take it here, especially, yeah, with those leftovers, right? You're just going to be recovering a ton of HP. That's going to be setting up a +3 Rage Fist, unfortunately. And so that really is going to be unfortunate for us. We could have maybe gone for a Protect, right, last turn, trying to scout out what the Terra type was to try and go for something like a Knockoff. Knockoff, I think, would have probably just been safer overall, right, because it does account for the potential of Terra Fire, and it would have handled everything. I think, yeah, there wasn't really a... right, yeah, I think we should have just played it for the Terra Fire. Right now, we are going to be taking a really, really big Rage Fist, which I'm assuming, right, it is boosted 3 times, should be enough to KO this Glimmora. And so, yeah, unfortunately, we are going to go down there. We do get the Toxic Spikes just a little bit later than I would have liked. But overall, like I said, knockoff I think would have gotten us there. But it is what it is, right? It would have been neutral, so I think it would have been close. But overall, a solid first game. I think we learned a lot, and we can just kind of keep pushing. So let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, battle number 2 here, and it's a really interesting one, right? It is Baxcalibur, Abomasnow, Armarouge with the... what is that thing called? With the Amoonguss, Sylveon, and Vaporeon. So a lot of really interesting things here. Glimmora is genuinely awesome, right? It has a ton of overall incredible damage onto a lot of things. We do need to be a little bit wary of the Baxcalibur if we bring something like the Meowscarada, right? It does have access to priority Ice Shard. So I'm going to actually do Sylveon with the Glimmora, right? I think it offers a lot of pressure. The main issue is the Amoonguss. Otherwise, I would feel pretty comfortable bringing Dondozo, but... right, the issue with this is the fact that Baxcalibur is an Ice type, and so is everything else. So necessarily Terra-ing into flying puts us in a pretty bad position. But either way, we're going to be in a bad position. I want to use Dondozo here, so I think it makes the most sense. We could have potentially led with part of the core, right? I don't think we needed to have both options in the back and kind of save Sylveon for later. But I think that this works out, right? We could have had, what's it called? Tatsugiri, I think, in the lead and go for a taunt, right? Being able to stop a potential Abomasnow setting up that Aurora Veil is huge, whereas now we kind of have to play a game of what is my opponent going to Terra into what, where we don't have access to that open team sheet information, right? So we don't necessarily have a fully safe play, but Specs Glimmora should do just a lot of damage onto really anything, as we are going to see the Abomasnow with the Sylveon. And so this is good for us, right? Because of the fact that we immediately have this solid pressure using the fact that we can go for a Hyper Voice right off the bat, as well as go for a Sludge Bomb, right? Sludge Bomb is going to be super effective into everything. And I really want to deal with the Abomasnow more than the Sylveon because of the fact it's Choice Scarf. It is Choice Scarf, Abomasnow. That did a lot. Okay, that's why it did a lot. They have the Aurora Veil boost, and they got the crit. Okay. Well, we're going to see the Shroom come out here, and I think I'm going to go for Protect. I'm going to attempt to Sludge Bomb into this Sylveon. We might get it, right? I'm expecting a really obvious Rage Powder, right? Trying to just eat that hit. But, oh, we're going to see no. That's unfortunate. That's probably just a straight Spore. But we are faster, right? And so what can happen potentially is we should just be able to... oh, that's why. That's unfortunate. But it looks like we're doing more with Sludge Bomb. So we can go for a Hyper Voice here, as well as fire off the Sludge Bomb once again into the Sylveon. We should have, if we had gone for the Hyper Voice, I think we would have worked out. But I obviously did not expect the Sylveon to survive the Sludge Bomb, given the fact that we are Specs. It is stab and super effective, but there is the Aurora Veil, so it is what it is. Luckily, though, we do know it is only going to be 5 turns because of the fact that the Abomasnow outsped. Unless, I mean, I'm pretty sure Abomasnow is just like not very fast. I could be wrong, and it could actually just be like Clay, and I don't know why everything is so slow, but I kind of think it's Choice Scarf, which is good, right? We're finishing off these turns. We're creating a scenario where we can bring out Dondozo, and we are going to see the Terra here, I'm assuming, into the Sylveon. And so the big question now is, what do you have in the back? Unfortunately, right, we're not getting a scenario where we can set up these Toxic Spikes, which is all I want to do. But the Sylveon, right, is going to be that fire type, which means that we do have the ability just to put on a lot of pressure here. We do get a really nice poison, right? Even if we aren't getting that toxic debris, we are just firing off some stuff. We also do get a nice little critical hit onto the Sylveon. That's what you get for critting me turn 1. Deal with it, noob. That noob was directed not at the person I'm playing, it was directed at the Sylveon. The Sylveon is a noob. There is nothing for you to heal. I am very thankful, and so now, right, we do have access to Bozo in the back. Once again, we are not getting the toxic debris. I have tried for this for so hard, and so, right, okay, so we can fire off a Hyper Voice here and just go for solid damage. The Sludge Bomb is neutral into the Amoonguss, and, right, we do have Bozo in the back to sort of clean things up. So this, I think, is a really fine position overall, right? We can just get some damage onto the Amoonguss, really just trying to break it down and say, hey, if you want to keep healing up your Sylveon or your Vaporeon, that's fine. The Muddy Water gonna come out here, getting the KO onto my Glamora, which means, right, we can just bring out our Dondozo and deal with things that way. Yeah, at this point, I'm not worried at all because, right, we can just bring out Bozo and go for the Terra and try and get rid of their, their Amoonguss as fast as possible. And I think once we do that, right, we can fire the Hyper Voice and then we can go for a Terra. Actually, okay. I'm going to Protect here, and do I have Protect here as well? I'm going to go for, no, I'm not. Yeah, I am. Because I think that you only have one more turn of Aurora Veil, so I just want to get rid of that, and then I can go for, like, I'm not worried about the Vaporeon. It's gonna, like, reveal Toxic, and I'm gonna cry, but that's fine. Let's see what, okay, it's gonna be Icy Wind coming out from the Vaporeon, so that makes me think maybe I want to switch out into Bozo. I also do not think that this Amoonguss has, what's it called? Okay, we're gonna see the Spore. That's fine, right? Going into the Bozo. I'm just gonna switch out from my Sylveon. The Snow Stop, please tell me the Aurora Veil. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So we can swap from Sylveon into the Tatsugiri, and then we can just go for a Terra Flying, Terra Blast into the Amoonguss. I know that we're at +2, and I just don't want to necessarily risk, what's it called? I don't necessarily want to risk them surviving. I know, like I said, +2 order up should be enough, but I do really want to play it safe. I don't think that there's any reason for me to do otherwise, right? I feel very good one-on-one or 3v1ing a Sylveon. I mean, not a Sylveon, a Vaporeon, especially with Sylveon in the back, right? And then we do have just so much damage that we can pressure overall after we get the knockout that I think that this is just the best play. Order up, I think, would have been cute. I think it would have been fine, right? Like, looking at how low this, what's it called? This Amoonguss is, but of course it has Protect. They just didn't reveal it until now. We're gonna see the Icy Wind, right? That should do really no damage at all into Dondozo. Yeah, we should be able to heal a lot of that up, and we're still at +1 speed, right? So I feel confident in our ability to kind of deal with this Amoonguss. We do have to worry about, right, a Muddy Water coming out, so they could do that, right? They could go for a Muddy Water, lower our accuracy, have us miss Terra Blast, and then put us to sleep. But even then, right, we're so bulky on Dozo. Like, we lost like 8 hit points. We're gonna see, okay, perfect, the failed double protect. I think that should pretty much guarantee the win for us, right? At this point, we can just start firing off order ups into this Vaporeon, and it's just gonna take them so long to get through Bozo, especially because we can also protect, right? We can play the timer, which, I mean, that's an option. I mean, so I think we're just gonna play a timer at this point, right? We have so much time on the clock that I'm gonna just start waiting for the timer to go down, and that way we can just start firing off big hits onto the Vaporeon, right? Boosting up, stalling, boosting up, stalling, boosting up, stalling, and we just wait, right? That's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna play the timer. We can probably, we'll start playing the timer in a little bit, right? I do want to still put on some pressure, right, and make it so we're gonna win. The Muddy Water, like I said, that's what I'm worried about, the fact that you can sort of lower my accuracy, and once you start getting those accuracy drops, you don't really have a reason to go for anything else. I'm gonna click order up, but like I said, I'm gonna just start giving a little bit more on the time because of the fact that I think it's fine here, right? Actually, I think we still have like 10 minutes left in this battle. I probably should not play the timer, right? When did we? How long has it been roughly? Yeah, it's been like 10 minutes. I think we can. Okay, yeah, I think that's our plan here, right? Is just, that did a little bit more than I would have liked. That is really bad. But look at how many animations there are, right? You have all of the leftovers happening. You have the... I'll wait. So I'm just going to keep waiting until the 30 seconds shows up and then clicking, right? I realize the error of my way is that I have blocked the portion that shows the time remaining with my face. And so that makes it a little bit tricky here. As we're going to get the order up, right, getting some nice extra damage here. We know that Vaporeon has Icy Wind, it has Haze, it has the, what's it called? Icy Wind, Haze. Oh, wow, that did a lot of damage. I still have Sylveon in the back, as well as Tatsugiri. So I feel pretty confident. I should feel very confident, right? I'm gonna, yeah, I have like 4 minutes left. I'm gonna click another order up here at like the 10-second mark this time, and then go for a protect, right? Trying to recover some HP back. We do still have access, like I said, to Tatsugiri, as well as the Sylveon, so I'm not very worried at all, right? We do have a single target Hyper Voice into this Vaporeon. We do have to be a little bit wary, though, of misses with things like or as a result of the, I can't even, what is that thing called? The Muddy Water. That's it. So let's fire this off here, right? We're gonna see the Muddy Water, perfect. Oh no, that's not perfect. That did a lot more damage than I would have liked. That is really bad. We are gonna get an attack boost. Okay, so now we protect, and then we sort of go from there. I think we have, what's it called? We have a Draco Meteor on, right? What is, we have Draco Meteor on Tatsugiri. So we're gonna just, yeah, there's like not enough time realistically to try to play the timer at this point, but we're gonna try. We're gonna wait till it says 10, and then we're gonna, yeah, it's only been like 13 minutes. There's realistically no way I can stall 7 more minutes. Maybe. That Muddy Water did way more than I thought it was going to, so that was like really unfortunate. But I mean, right, none of their moves are 100% accurate too. That's the important thing to consider, right? They're going for very inaccurate things here. The issue is if they, so I don't think they Terra'd, right? I'll wait for the 30. I think, right, it's been what? No, it's because of the timer and all the start. There's really realistically no way we get to timer here. We're gonna see the Muddy Water. I need the Muddy Water to miss, or I need to survive with Bozo. Perfect, I need to hit this order up. Perfect, thank you, Don Dozo. That is, so I think at this point we can afford just to go for an attack, right? Because of the fact that we have Tatsugiri and the Sylveon, and we don't know. So here's the thing. We don't know that if Sylveon is faster. So we are kind of, okay, they're gonna cancel, right? I think it was still potentially doable, but, which is really scary, right? That was a 3v1, And I had Dozo, and I was like, hey, I might lose this. But, you know, we had the power of Emilio. We did not lose it. I wish I could move. I should move my overlay so I can see the time, because that, like, kind of is important. So we'll play around with that, but not right now. But let's keep on rocking and rolling and play one more. All right, last battle of the day, and it is Lycanroc Tyranitar with the Hydreigon, a Volcarona, Sylveon, and Amoonguss. So I'm gonna do Glimmora with the Talonflame. I am forced to Terra my Talonflame, but that's fine. Am I forced to Talonflame, or is that a stupid idea? Probably. Right? Like, what is Glimmora gonna do? That's my issue, right? It's gonna be, they're gonna lead Lycanroc Tyranitar, and then, like, what? Have Hydreigon in the back, have Amoonguss in the back. So we're not gonna get the Toxic Debris, which is all I really wanted. But, you know, that's fine. We'll make it work. We can do the things that we need to do. And let's see here. On lead, we're gonna see, yep, Tyranitar Lycanroc, which is exactly what I expected. We could see, okay, so let's think about this, right? I like the idea of going for an Earth Power onto the Lycanroc, so that way we can go for a, what's it called? We can go for a Sucker Punch, right? We can go doot doot the subsequent turn. The issue with that, though, is if Tyranitar Terras into a flying type, right? Because it means that we don't have a way of hitting it the subsequent turn. And so that can be a little bit tricky. But we do have Bozo. It kind of does mean that we're forced to stick with Glimmora on the field, which I am a little bit, I mean, I'm very mixed about being like, okay, this Pokemon is just going to sit on the field and do nothing. But, I mean, once we get in Bozo, that's going to be totally fine. So let's see what happens here, right? I want to create a scenario where, okay, so we're going to see the Protect here. We're seeing no Terra, which is really good for me, as we should see a Rock Slide. It is going to just be a close combat, though, going into the Glimmora. So getting the defenses, more importantly, setting up those Toxic Spikes that are going to get immediately eaten by that Amoonguss when you switch it in, but I want to pretend that it's going to work out. And so let's see here, the Earth Power, is it going to be Focus? It is Focus Sash on the Lycanroc. So we do have the ability, right, to go for a, okay, we're going to see Ice Punch from the Tyranitar. So interesting, for sure. We can now go for a Sucker Punch onto, I think we go for an Earth Power onto the Tyranitar, as well as go for a Sucker Punch onto the Lycanroc. The issue, right, is we do have Bozo in the back, and if you can force us to, what's it called? If you can force us to, okay, Tyranitar going for Protect here, great. We should be able to KO the Lycanroc. Perfect, down you go. Good boy. And so now we do have a layer of Toxic Spikes. Please, 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 I'm begging you, do not bring out Amoonguss. I just want something to be poisoned. That's all I want. And you're just not gonna let me have it. And I know that, and I hate that. But it's fine, right? We can, please, oh my god, please say you didn't bring Amoonguss. I'm totally about to see Amoonguss here. So we can Earth Power into the Amoonguss, as well as go for a knockoff onto it. I expect the Tyranitar to probably, okay, that's fine, right? I want to get rid of its item, and this way I can set up for the Bozo endgame. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Okay, I will take that. Probably all special defense investment. The Amoonguss, right, will go down to the Sandstorm, and so that is good for us, as we can bring out Dondozo at this point, right? We should see the Amoonguss. Yeah, it's going to get hit by that Sandstorm. Perfect. Let's bring out our Dozo friend and try and go from there. I'm so sad that this is the one time that we were set up perfectly, and of course it didn't work out. as let's see what's going to come out here. Survey says it is going to be the Hydreigon. So we are forced now to Earth Power into the Tyranitar, and I'm going to go for a... Actually, no. I'm going to switch out in the Tatsugiri, and I'm going to go for an Order Up onto the Hydreigon, right? I'm worried that it is Scope Lens Focus Energy, and so I need to basically do as much damage to it as possible, right? If we can hit it really aggressively this turn, we do have the ability potentially to go for a Protect and have it get finished off by Sandstorm, depending on how the Hydreigon is trained. So we do want to kind of see what happens there, but let's see what's going to happen, right? We are seeing the Terra come out from my opponent. Wonder what it's going to be. It is going to be that Hydreigon. So going for the Terra Steel here, a little bit scary for sure, right? It means that you are going to be able to take this attack. We don't have a good way of damaging it. That is one thing I just realized, right? We have Order Up. We have... Okay, it's going to be Dark Pulse, doing a little bit of chip. We are going to see the Life Orb confirmed, which is awesome. The Rock Slide. So I think what we want to do, unfortunately, right, is the fact that we aren't going to be recovering any health with our leftovers. Right, it is going to get canceled out by that Sandstorm. And so now is the question of what do we do here? I want to Earthquake. Do I Earthquake? What do I have in the back? I have Glimmora. I'm going to go for another Order Up into the Hydreigon, right? I want to try to... I could have gone for Protect here, and so I probably should have, right? The thought process with that is... Okay, nice. We'll take that for the incoming crunch onto... What is my Terra? It's water. Alright, Glimmora. Show me... Okay, that's a Draco Meteor. It's unfortunate, right? There's really nothing that I can do about that. It just is what it is. It's one of the risks of playing Dozo, right? You do have to worry about those crits. But yeah, it is what it is. Make sure to check out Emilio's team and check out Emilio. That's all I got. If you got any rental teams you want me to check out, let me know in the comments. Trying to get back into regular stuff. So be on the lookout for that. But until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.